Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host, Fondue.
This is Cheesy.
This week we're going to learn about rats and cheese.
Ew.
We're going to talk about pollination.
What?
We're going to learn about rat milk.
Ew.
And we're going to hear about rats on a plane.
Whoa.
We're going to find out how Chuck E. Cheese is appealing to a new generation.
Okay.
And we talk about river rat cheese.
Ew.
And of course, no episode is complete without our very cheesy joke.
Yay, joke.
Stay tuned for episode 156, Rats, on Just Cheesy, the podcast. I bet you're wondering, why are we talking about rats and cheese?
Yeah.
When we get to my favorite segment, This Week in Cheese,
Yeah.
you'll understand the inspiration.
Okay.
All the way back in Season 1, Episode 15, we talked about mice and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And we learned that cheese is not a mouse's favorite food.
Nope.
More than likely, something like peanut butter would be their favorite.
Oh.
I mean, obviously they would eat it if it was available, but it was not their favorite.
Oh.
And according to an article on phys.org, their preference might be nectar.
Nectar.
According to the article, a team of researchers from La Trobe University
Okay.
used motion-activated game cameras to reveal that the native ash gray mouse would regularly take nectar from certain Banksia plants.
Whoa.
We usually think of bees or birds as pollinators,
Yep.
but according to this study, it looks like mice might also be feeding on nectar.
Really?
In Australia, it was thought to be primarily achieved by the honey possum,
Okay.
which is a unique marsupial that feeds only on pollen and nectar.
Ooh.
But they were surprised that the ash gray mice, along with introduced house mice, were the primary pollinators of Banksia sublata, which is commonly known as the owled honeypot.
Whoa.
They said this wasn't just the mice looking for another food source such as insects,
Oh.
but that they clearly lapped the nectar from the flower.
Ooh.
So mice might be pollinators,
Yeah.
but can mice or rats be milked for cheese?
Can they?
According to modernfarmer.com, not really.
Okay.
Of course, The Simpsons had a episode about school milk with a factory full of lactating rats.
Okay.
But is it actually possible to make cheese from rat's milk?
Is it?
And according to this article, they talk about different types of animals. Sheep and goats don't produce nearly the quantity of milk that you can get from a cow.
Oh, yeah.
And they said here, the smaller you go down the animal chain, the less milk you're going to get.
Right.
Nora Weiser of the American Cheese Society says you'd need an army of 674 rats
Whoa.
to produce the 31 kilograms of milk one dairy cow puts out each day.
Holy cow.
Now, let's say you were able to gather that much.
Yeah.
A rat's milk is actually very high in protein. It's 8%.
Really?
And it contains almost 4 times the fat by volume when compared to raw cow's milk.
Oh.
They say it would probably make a really good brie, and it would stand as a rich addition to a cup of coffee in the morning.
Wow.
674 rats would only produce 0.003% of the methane that comes from a dairy cow.
Of course.
But they also said they think that the ick factor would make it a tough sell to customers.
Yeah.
The website ratmilkers.org.
What?
Yeah.
Ratmilkers?
Ratmilkers.org.
Okay.
They talk about benefits across various verticals,
Okay.
including sales to research facilities,
Sure.
commercial feeding of infant rats for pet snakes,
Ew.
and a speculative market of rat milk products for human beings.
Okay.
The snake one is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
They talked about rat's milk
Ooh.
as a convenient and safe alternative to traditional feeding methods.
Whoa.
This eliminates the need for snake owners to breed and raise feeder rats.
Whoa.
This would reduce the potential risks associated with disease transmission
Okay.
and inadequate nutrition.
Whoa.
That rat's milk would allow for precise control over the nutritional content, ensuring that infant rats fed to snakes are healthy, well-nourished, and free from potential health issues.
And then eaten.
But did you know that there really is rat milk?
Really?
According to bioivt.com, they actually sell rat milk.
Holy cow.
This company actually provides biofluids for scientists.
Ew.
They actually produce rat milk as a biospecimen for the pharmaceutical industry.
Whoa.
They said there is a wide range of strains supporting diverse scientific pursuits, including mechanistic studies of human reproduction, breast cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular research.
Wow.
They also have related products and services. They have bovine milk,
Oh my.
normal human breast milk,
Okay.
and non-human primate milk.
Ooh.
BioIVT is not a sponsor,
Nope.
but if it was, the ad would go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah.
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
They do?
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay.
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY, that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay. Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. It's time for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
Have you heard of the movie Snakes on a Plane?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, according to an article on October 23rd, 2024, there are super rats on a plane.
What?
According to the NewYorkPost.com, in an article called Spirit Plane Passengers Freak After Super Rat Scurries Around Aircraft,
Yeah.
You're Flying Chuck E. Cheese Airlines.
Oh my.
On a Spirit Airlines flight from Dallas to Los Angeles, there was a rat running above the overhead bin.
Oh no.
There is a supposed video of this.
Okay.
The video shows a pair of rodent feet perched inside a light on the cabin ceiling.
Oh no.
This light area houses the essential electric wiring,
Ooh.
and it traverses the aircraft.
Oh my.
According to the article, they say some of the onlookers called it a super rat.
Ew.
And they also said it's unclear which plane this rat invaded.
Oh no.
And of course somebody quipped, "You're flying Chuck E. Cheese Airlines."
Yeah.
And somebody else said, "Ratatouille switched careers, I see." But the actual concern would be that the rodent would actually chew through the wires, causing a malfunction or a fire.
Oh, holy cow.
Last month, a mouse ran amok on a Scandinavian Airlines flight.
What?
This forced the jet to make an emergency landing in Denmark
Whoa.
due to their policy that prohibits rodents on the flight
Yeah.
because of what they say is their taste for electrical wiring.
Holy cow.
And speaking of Chuck E. Cheese, what are they doing to appeal to the new generation of guests?
Yeah, what?
Well, according to QSRmagazine.com, this brand received a $350 million investment
Whoa.
to revamp its fun centers.
Okay.
They said their long-term goal is to meet the expectation of modern families.
Sure.
They said today's locations feature an interactive dance floor,
Ooh.
free Wi-Fi,
Yay.
device plugins for parents,
Nice.
trampoline zones, game enhancements,
Ooh.
and digital ordering kiosks.
Whoa.
They're even trying out their new grown-up menu,
Okay.
which of course has their iconic pizza,
Sure.
but it also includes wings, meatballs, and desserts.
Ooh.
They say they just have to continue to innovate and do things that matter for each changing generation.
Whoa.
We found some rat cheese online.
Yeah, we did.
It's from Cuba Cheese Shop in New York.
Ooh.
It's called River Rat, and it's a horseradish cheddar cheese.
Is it rat milk?
And no, it's not actually made of rat milk.
Whew.
It's made of cow milk.
Nice.
But it sounds really good.
Yeah.
This cheese has horseradish, and it's aged over 6 months.
Yum.
You can buy this cheese online, and we have a link to it in our show notes.
I'm ready for a joke, Fondue.
Okay, why do rats look for other rats?
Oh, I don't know.
Because they don't want to be provolone.
Oh, my goodness.
Get it? Provolone?
I got it. It's dumb.
Yep, it was dumb and a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 156, Rat.
Thank you.
Have you thought of a cheesy joke?
Have you?
Check us out on www.justcheesy.com and submit your own.
And stay cheesy, everybody.